again, it just has the feel of the same people. Look at this road. Look at this road. Are you seeing how wavy this road is?
Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't that be the first thing that you would have done?
Build like a real road, right?
The first thing, before I'm building, let's just forget about one of these buildings and just lay it down on the damn road so we don't have to go through the mud.
Yeah, yeah. Imagine
There's a
hauling the stone through the mud and through dirt roads. It's crazy. But
and
get
so
your
this
roads
is
together first before you start building that,
yes, yes.
antiquitech.
Yeah, and we see like I've seen photos of the World's Fair. I believe it was Chicago or maybe it was the St. Louis one. I have it in one of the videos, and there's trees in the road, mature trees, and people are walking. You can see the paths walking around them. So it's overgrown. This doesn't appear to have been built for the World's Fair in Brazil. Like who's going to Brazil to the World's Fair in this time period?
And there's a lot of poles. You see right there at the bottom. Like what are those
A
poles?
lot of poles, and yes, and it seems like again it's not shocking to find more and more technology. They had it all. I mean, I'm even saying the espresso machine and all those gears you were showing
Yeah.
earlier. All that is their stuff. It's they weren't aliens. They were people like us. Some of the buildings appear to be larger, like they were made for larger people, but a lot of them seem like they were made for humans.
And let's look at some because there's the same style buildings like in China, right? And like Vietnam and in all of Asia, the same thing too,
Yes,
right?
yes, and
Like
the same building company um, built it.
you got any? Let's see some stuff in Asia. That'll trip people out. Like you see it in China, because now that it seems like a lot or most or all of our Wild West history is probably distorted at the very least. I don't know if it's all fake. Maybe I don't know. But it just seems like that whole Wild West narrative that just doesn't jive with the timeline. And then you start thinking about, man, what about like the Chinese,
The Chinese,
the Chinese kung fu Shaolin monk type shit? You know what I mean? I'm like, maybe that's their Wild West.
that's their Wild West, exactly. Because here's a building, here's Shanghai, so it's the same thing. Shanghai looked like San Francisco, looked like Chicago, and they still have the same buildings with the tech everywhere. I mean,
Look at that.
excessively.
This is China.
This is Shanghai, yeah.
That's crazy. It does not look like the Shaolin monk era. That's, dude, all that kung fu shit. And most
But
kung
then
fu
look at
don't
the
even work
people.
anyways. Yeah.
They're horse and buggy too. They're not even horse. They're just buggy. They're just carry your buggy. You see? They don't even get the horse. It's like man and buggy is what we're dealing with here. If you look, they're all rickshaws. Let's look down here. Rickshaws. Yeah, all the parked rickshaws here. It's not the best resolution, but when you look at the bridge, when you look at the architectural style, it's the same you would see anywhere in the world. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
that
no.
looks like Europe.
Yes, yes, and I like to play a game in my videos, like name this city, and then we say where it is, and it could be anywhere. We could find the same picture anywhere.
And then the same thing with like India. Their Wild West is like all Hindued out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and India is some of the most mind blowing. This is India right here. Can you see this picture?
Yeah, yeah.
And India is so mind blowing. India is some of the best example for melted structures too. Like what the hell happened to these bricks? And you see this. I like this one because we can see what's underneath this statue. You see how this statue fared worse than this one. This elephant. It was probably an elephant at one point, and the inside is brick. So this is a good depiction of what we're seeing everywhere. Everything is brick covered with a facade. Brick covered with some type of cement or geopolymer or just